Hello and welcome, my name is Mark and this is my 1979 Ferrari 308 GTS. Now I've owned this car for just over 20 years now. In that time I have had some epic adventures. I've been all over the UK, into Europe and Scandinavia as well. However, all those adventures have taken their toll and there's some areas that really need some TLC. So in this video I'm going to be assessing the damage, uncovering some unwelcome news and I meet Ferrari guru Ratarossa. So first up is the front spoiler. There's plenty of damage on it. It's only fiberglass, but it's had a couple of repairs on it in the past. And I've done a lot of miles in this car, and it's been on ferries, over speed humps, and what have you. So luckily, I do have a replacement. And the replacement is sitting in my back garden, looking a little bit unloved, but it is an original. You can see the orange primer grinning through, which does show that it's original. It is the wrong colour, so we're going to have to get it painted. And this has been sitting here for a couple of years. But this is when I picked it up. Now, I wasn't really on the lookout for a replacement, but this one just popped up when a guy was clearing out his grandfather's garage. His grandfather sounds like a really interesting guy. So he had a 79 308 in white, and he had a deep front spoiler and a shallow front spoiler for this car. The shallow front spoiler he would use to go off on his various tours, and the deep front spoiler he'd keep for local or shows or for best, I think, as he put it. Something else that's been bugging me as well is the gap on both sides of the front bumper. For some reason it's tight in the middle and then comes out. Now somebody pointed out, which I never realized before, but when I come and look at the side of the car like this, the bumper itself is actually flat, whereas obviously there's a bit of a curve in the car. The back is the same. It's not quite as bad. As you can see, the bumper itself is actually quite flat, and then the car has got a bit of a curve to it. So I don't know whether this has just been put on incorrectly or whether I actually need replacements. So we'll get them off and have a look. So before I take the white spoiler away, there are a couple of other parts on the car that have got stone chips on them as well. So I might as well remove those and take everything off to the body shop at the same time. With a spoiler or valance off the car, we can have a proper look now. There's a lot of holes along here. Some of them look as though they might have been doubled up or made wider, but there was literally 3 10mm nuts and bolts on either side. Underneath there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rivets holding it in place, and then the grille, there was brackets for the grille, so again 1, 2, 3, 4 of those, they were all riveted in place as well. So just looking at it flipped up the other way, you can just see how bad it is. The front and the rear are just completely separated all the way along, so it's going to take quite a lot of fiberglass to sort that out. Lots of chunks missing out of it. I mean, the state of the roads in this country are just awful, and they seem to be loving the speed humps all over the place. Another crack running through there as well, which is probably why that plate got put on, and you can just see where it's, you know, caught the road or speed humps. So again, with the valance off, you know, we can have a look at all these areas here, see how bad some of this is. Hopefully it's just cleaning up, rubbing down and giving a nice lick of paint. You can see the state of the grille that's just been peppered with flies, wasps, stones, God knows what. The two fans don't match, but I don't see that's too much of an issue. So we can give all that a clean up. And then that there is a heater fan for the driver's side, but it's missing here. So I'm going to see if I can get another one of those. So with the car outside now, the front valance stripped off, and the wheels on this side taken off, I think I'm going to get in there and try and give a good scrub. Just having a look, we've got our missing heater fan, but I think that must be the connections for it, neatly folded up there. A lot of surface rust. I'm hoping might be able to clean that up, give it some sort of anti-rust protection, and then paint it. Going underneath, it's all looking much more miserable. Now, there is a massive hole here, which is also up there as well. Don't know if you can see into there. So that's got to be welded for sure. And I've got the same thing on the other side. And what's interesting is it looks like somebody has, oh sorry, I can't get the camera in properly. Somebody has put a patch here already. So that'll have to come off, and then there's sort of what looks like another patch here. So that needs cutting out and doing properly. Now, if I am going to go down the line of buying a new bumper, I thought I might as well just have a quick go and see if I can do anything with reshaping this. So I have put a heat gun on it, still hot now. I have wedged the middle out and pushed these edges back as far as I can. And the shape is there. So I'm going to let it cool down, take the wedges out and see what happens. Because if I can make this a little better than it was, then it'll probably be worth keeping rather than spending all that money on a new bumper. So let's give it a go. So the bumper's been on and off a few times now. I've heated it in situ, I've taken it off and heated it, tried to manipulate the shape a bit there. While it's been on and I've heated it, I've loosened the bolts, tried pushing it back, tightening it back up again, and just keep repeating the process just to see if I can get a bit more of a curve in it. Obviously I've got it wedged under the middle at the back, and I've put a couple of spaces in there now just to keep the gap between the bumper and the bodywork as even as possible whilst it was hot. So I think now let's let it cool down overnight, come back tomorrow and have a look to see if it's done anything at all. So I've just found on eBay it says it's a genuine Ferrari 308 front bumper, and it's only a few miles away as well, which is really handy. So I'm going to head over there now and pick it up, and let's see if it's a better fit than the one I've got. So I've just pulled up at the address that I was given, and I recognise some of these cars. Hello, sir.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Good. How are you? How are you?
We've got you a bumper here.
Lovely,
yeah?
lovely. So what we got? Tell us what we got.
So we have got a 308 Euro. This is the main thing. Euro bumper. You do not want a US bumper for a start. Have you seen a US bumper?
I have. They look hideous. Yeah.
So US bumper on a 308. So that's a Euro. US is probably about this. It's basically a picnic table, and it weighs, I think we weighed the front and rear on my US car, and they were 35 kilos for both of them. Wow. So Euro spec, and yeah.
So this is a lot nicer than the one I've got anyway.
Yeah.
So this is fiberglass. The one I've got looks as though it might be rubber, and it's got it's got sections in it as well.
Yeah. So that's it. Yeah. That's genuine.
Cool. Off the back of one of your cars?
Off one of my project cars, yeah. I think we bought this on the black 308 project. I managed to get the lower deep dish valance on it, which is what I much prefer the look of the deep dish. And at the same time, so that was a genuine one, and they had that, but I'd already bought one, and it was already on the car, and that was from Super Performance. So this one is the leftover one.
Nice one. Well, thank you very much.
Good luck with the project, yeah? I will be following. And,
Mr. Ratarossa.
Guys, make sure you follow this guy. Check out his 308 project, because he's probably going to do a much better job than me.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Nice one.
Cheers then. Nice to meet you.
Well, that was a surprise. Scott is a genuinely lovely guy. He took time out. We had a lovely long conversations, which I really appreciate it. If you're not familiar with his work, he does some great projects with Ferraris, old and new. So check out his channel, Ratarossa. Anyway, let's get back and see if this bumper fits any better than the one I've got. So only just offering it up there, I can already see the curve is better than the one I've got. It still doesn't follow the car perfectly, but it's definitely better than the one I've got. So we've got in the heavyweight corner my original bumper, which I think is rubber based, weighing in at 4.7 kilograms. And in the featherweight corner, we've got the new fiberglass bumper at 2.73 kilograms. So it looks like our featherweight contender is the way forward. Obviously, it needs a lot of work to clean it up, repaint, etc. as well. I've also noticed the brackets where the light fitting would bolt into is broken or missing on both sides. So I'm going to have to make something up there. In terms of shape, when I put them side by side, the curve, although here doesn't look that much different, once you get to this point, this is a lot further back. And I think that was part of my issue with the light sort of sticking proud. So yeah, I think this is the way to go, as well as saving a little bit of weight. Okay, so I'm back up at Super Spray to have a look at the finished spoiler, and what a transformation. I cannot believe it. It looks fantastic. Jose's got a real eye for detail, quite a perfectionist as well, I think. So, as well as the colour change, he stripped it all down, recoated the black on the inside and on the underside as well. And of course we've got the speed line in the black. He's also done the sides of a pop-up headlight for me that had the big chips in it, and then that frame as well, the surround. So he didn't do the top because if I painted the top, it would stand out against the existing paint. So he's just done the sides, and then we'll get the car detailed, and hopefully that will just polish up just as nice. Right, so that's the bits back home now, so I can get the headlight back in, get that pop-up working again and properly aligned. I'm not going to fit the front spoiler because we've got to get the car back over to Jose for him to have a look on the underside and give me a quote for the welding. I'm not looking forward to that, but let's see. So I'm going to hopefully drop it to him next week, depending on the weather, because at the moment it's horrible, and obviously just want to wait for a bit of a dry day before I drive the car over there. So the light pod is back in place again, and I've got to say I spent a good few hours just getting it right, messing around, just tweaking with all the adjustments and everything on it, just to make sure that all the shut lines were right. And then when I'd finished that one, I then realised that I wasn't happy with the other side, and then spent a good few hours taking this one apart and messing around with that one as well. But anyway, that job is now done. So hopefully now I've got all the parts I need to be able to put the car back together again. So join me next time, where I'll be back up at Super Spray. We'll get the car up on the ramp and just see how bad the underneath is and how much welding needs to be done. Until next time, cheerio.